The Trench has dropped in theaters. I'm a couple days late getting my review out for a couple of reasons. First off, they didn't really do press screenings for this movie. When the first Meg came out here in Austin, the press screening was actually out on a lake. We were in inflatables. They put it on a big, gigantic projector. It was an awesome experience. I actually did a whole vlog documenting the entire thing. And it was also a little bit of a fun moment in history because it was about a month before my second daughter was born. So quite the adventure to go see this movie. But when it came to the Meg 2, they didn't do hardly any press screenings anywhere, which normally is an indicator they don't have a lot of faith in the film. So I did go see it opening night, and I went on a double date with a couple of our friends. So my wife dressed up as a shark. She bought a shark costume for her friend. Both of them love monster movies, shark movies. They were so excited to check out this movie that they went in cosplay as sharks to go see the film. So I did see it opening night, but it took me a couple days to get my review out because yesterday I actually spoke at the Austin venue of the Global Leadership Summit, which was a very cool opportunity, kind of sharing my story of growing my YouTube channel while recovering from alcohol addiction. I believe it's the biggest number of people I've ever spoken to. And I was speaking to grown-ups, not just teenagers, which I've been doing since basically I was a teenager, so pretty cool little opportunity, but it delayed getting my review out for this film. Real quick before I let you know what I thought about it, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. What did you think about Meg 2 and what were your expectations going into it? With that said, I'll just kind of dive into it with this movie, and on a plot level, story level, even kind of like storytelling, proper execution of building tension, setting up things up, paying them off. This movie it's very incompetent. It's also a movie that is just throwing so much ridiculous stuff at the screen that if this is your version of dumb fun, there is a good bit of fun to be had. And in fact, if you go see this movie with your wife who's dressed up as a shark, who's watching the movie with her friend who's dressed up as a shark, and both of them seem to think that it is the funniest movie that they have ever seen, there's a lot of fun to be had here. But like I said, it's by no means a good movie. The film, essentially every act is about something completely different. Act 1 is about how they have a megalodon in captivity. Act 2 is about how there's like underwater mining going on in dangerous environments and there's like a disaster and we've got to escape. And then Act 3 is about all these megalodons and ancient creatures being set loose on a beach filled with people. None of them are really connected to each other. None of them, what's set up in the first act, has nothing to do with the second or third acts whatsoever. As best I can tell, the only reason they have a plot line about a megalodon in captivity in this movie is so that you can have a megalodon in the film in the first 20 minutes of the film. Otherwise, it just makes absolutely no sense. They're just wasting screen time setting up plot points and things going on that don't have payoff. They don't progress anything in the actual story. And because we're wasting time on a megalodon in captivity, we're not setting up all this stuff with like corporate espionage and sabotage and secret underwater bases. And so this whole middle act thing, totally underdeveloped. It's not really clear what exactly is going on here, why it's a problem, why there's the tension. You're just kind of like thrown into the middle of this thing where there's tension or there's stakes and danger going on. And then that sets up, in a sense, like that the ingredients of this are what cause the stuff that's in the third act, but you don't need the 45 minutes of hour, whatever it is, development in this middle act for the third act. You literally only need this little section that's about 5 minutes long in the second act to set up the third act. Everything else is we're just filling time. It's all just filler. It has nothing to do with the actual third act, where things go, why it matters at all. It's just stuff to happen so that we can have a full movie. But was I bored by the movie? I wasn't bored. Was my wife and her friend bored by the movie? No, they thought they were watching the most entertaining film of all time. They won't in any way try to defend it as a good film. But did they have fun with it? Were they entertained by the sheer stupidity on display? Yes, they were. And in talking with my wife, kind of her take on it, the big thing she kind of talked about is that she felt like the first movie was, maybe more coherent on a story level, but it felt like if you're going to make a movie where the premise is Jason Statham battles a megalodon, you're making a dumb movie, so embrace the dumb a little bit more. And this movie embraces the dumb a lot more. It just so goes for it with these silly ideas, nonsense physics, and creatures showing up. It just goes for it. And so it's entirely superficial. It's like, he's in a jet ski and he's holding a exploding harpoon flying at a megalodon. Oh, the gigantic squid ate a person. Oh, it's all that stuff. It's just very silly stuff that puts a smile on your face, but it's not earned in any sense. It's not storytelling led us to any of this. It's just superficially stupid things that are really fun to watch in order. And like you said, I wasn't bored by the movie, even during the second act, which isn't really about battling megalodons. They are like underwater and you're seeing all these different types of ancient creatures, and there's always something going wrong, people doing something ridiculous with technology. There's like underwater robot suits and mech suits. There's always something stupid happening in the movie that put a little smile on my face. Is it great storytelling? No. Is it a good movie? Absolutely not. There's all sorts of parts in the movie where, well, like I said, they keep just throwing things at the screen, and there's no central plot here. It's just a series of subplots that kind of tie together. And that's even the way the conflicts work in the movie, where they'll just say something like, we don't have any time to get out of here. It's all going to explode. And then someone will go, not if we go fast enough. And a director that's trying to make a great movie, they take those lines, this thing's going to explode. And then the guy says, not if we go fast enough. They've created a ticking clock. If this guy can run fast enough and do whatever he's trying to do fast enough, they can escape. And built into that is tension, edge of your seat thrills. If you have any sense of how to build tension. The movie doesn't do that. It just kind of like throws an idea out there. We got to get out of here. So the guy runs over there, flips some switches. There's explosions. They're like, should we close the hatch? Like, don't close the hatch. And then the guy jumps in the hatch. You could have like paused and made us wait. Oh, is he going to make it in time? No, it just kind of like throws it all at the screen. There's no proper tension building. And that keeps happening throughout the whole movie, where there's some scenario that should be tense. And it plays like they're just like trying to go through a checklist really fast of things that need to happen in a sequence, and not thinking about the actual way scenes play out, the way that a story plays out. So that's what this movie is. It's not a great thriller. It is trying to deliver schlocky fun, just by throwing everything it can at the screen. Other thing about this movie that makes it kind of it's an odd experience to watch it, because it's a Hollywood movie that is designed for the Chinese market. So like 40% of the dialogue in the film is in Chinese. It's all of the American trailers show the film as starring Jason Statham. And he is the star of the movie. But there's actually a co-lead in the film, Wu Jing, who's a massive Chinese actor and director. He was the director and the star of Wolf Warrior 2 that made over $1 billion, and almost no one in the United States saw the movie. And so they designed the film. And so there's these two leads that are both kind of designed for each of the two markets. And what does an American market want from their action hero? What does the Chinese market want from their action hero? What do they connect with? And so it's a kind of a fascinating experience to watch while you're watching a film designed for two different markets, two different marketing campaigns, two different stars of the movie, two different kind of plots kind of going on all at the same time, because they know this movie will do okay in the United States and it'll make a ton of money in the Chinese market. And so they literally replaced one of the stars of the first Meg with Wu Jing, who can turn it into this big starring vehicle for him. And none of the trailers here in the United States do anything to show him as a co-lead of the film. They don't market the movie based off of him. He's in the trailers, but he's in the background. He's a massive movie star. He directed and starred in a billion-dollar film, but not for the United States market. And that's what makes this movie such an interesting experience to watch, that it's like Hollywood movie designed for the Chinese market. And I'm sure it will make more money there than it made in the United States. That's what you're watching when you watch this film. As for me, I had fun with it. It's indefensibly bad. It's schlocky, it's ridiculous, it's over the top, it doesn't know how to tell its story, and its story isn't all that compelling in the first place, but I had fun with it. So that is exactly why I do my two different scores on movies, because there's objectively, wow, that's bad, and then there's, wow, I watched this with my wife and her friend who were in shark costumes. I had a fantastic time. It was a great night at the movies watching this really bad film. You have to go into the movie knowing that's what this is. It is a schlocky bad film that if you like this type of schlocky bad film, you will have fun with it. That's what my wife and her friends went expecting. That's what we got. Overall, it's only a C on the entertainment scale. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. If you like bad shark movies, this is a bad shark movie. Otherwise, steer clear. You will have a terrible time at the movies. You can check out my vlog about my experience seeing the first Meg on the lake with my very pregnant wife. Thank you so much for watching. Keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.